start your business to go to another level. You must try to learn and hear something new. So make the change today. So don't procrastinate and see your business grow and change. So check out Drastic. So yeah, with Toni Harris Taylor. Toni Harris Taylor. Drastic. So oh yeah, with Toni Harris Taylor. Yeah, yeah.
Hi, this is Toni Harris Taylor with another amazing offer of the Lead Loud Entrepreneurs Building Legacy Through Drastic Leadership. Miss Kasoon Chapman, welcome.
Hi, Toni.
So let's just get started. In your own words, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Kasoon Chapman. I am the innovative founder and CEO of Pen AI, and Pen AI is your AI co-pilot for productivity and growth. We build smart solutions that automate conversations that drive business leads, sales, and productivity. We have two core products under the Pen AI platform. One is a note-taking app that's found in the Apple and the Google Play Store, and it records and summarizes voice conversations in real time. And then we build custom AI agents specifically for businesses that want to generate leads, schedule appointments, and just interact with their visitors either on websites or in social media.
Yeah, those AI agents help with sales so that you don't miss the traffic that comes to the website. I got that right, correct?
That's correct. I mean, there's so many people that are actually spending a whole heck of a lot of money on marketing. Everybody knows that marketing is important, but they spend all this money and then the traffic goes to their site, or they have questions that are being asked on social media and they have no one to interact with these visitors. In fact, AI is conversational. I don't think that a lot of people understand that.
Yeah.
It's all about conversation.
And then the Pen AI on your phone, I like to describe it as a tool that we use when we're having in-person meetings. And I love that we were on a call once and somebody put in the chat, you know what? I'm giving this to my parents because they can never tell me what the doctor said.
That's right.
And so it's for those in-person meetings that you might not get the recordings online, so if you are doing business inside of four walls, the Pen AI recorder is really, really cool tool. So now I was impressed with you when I met you because I had not met a African American, and I know you're from Jamaica, but Jamaican American woman who
Right.
had the aptitude to create an AI tool. So tell me your entrepreneurial story. What inspired you to become an entrepreneur? And then how has this helped you become a better leader?
So, wow, I'm going to try to shorten this story. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, really. If I can really be honest and go back into my early days, I've always been thinking of innovative ways to do things. I always see a complex product or service, and I'm always thinking, how could I make it better? My mom is always saying there's nothing new under the sun, honestly. It's really just iterations of products that are out there. But for me specifically, my career started at AIG, a really large, everybody knows who AIG is.
I was there with you. We discovered that in our
large scale company. Remember that?
Yeah.
But I worked there for 15 years. I had an amazing time there. But I do remember the moment that I was challenged to work on a project. And the project, my responsibility at AIG, I wore several hats. was one as a business analyst. So it's my responsibility to meet with the different departments, either domestically, internationally. And I was to gather requirements, author what's called a requirements document, and work with the development team to build this system. And so I've done all that work. And I remember my boss and I were debriefing the head of the group. And, we were telling him, we met with IBM. They're going to take 6 months to build this. And it was so crazy. I could hear myself say these things or hear him talking about it. But I'm like, it doesn't even make any sense. 6 months to build something. So then I didn't even realize that my boss even knew the head of the group even knew my name. But I was like, why are we going to spend 6 months? We already have the budget. We have all the requirements. Why don't we build it ourselves? And he was like, well, why don't you do it, Kasoon? And I literally built a system in 6 weeks with a developer right next to me. We did a prototype, but in my mind, my innovative mind, I was like, we're not going to build a prototype that's a throwaway product. We're going to build a prototype that's usable. So in 6 weeks, we built something that was subsequently rolled out to 7 countries. And then legal called and they were like, we have to patent protect what you've developed against IBM because you had already shared all the information with IBM. It was at that very moment, honestly, Toni, I was like, I did that? I mean, that's exciting, but it's patentable? That's crazy. It was at that moment I was like, okay, I naturally think bigger than where I'm at, and how I approach the product or the development of and solving the solution, the issue that we had with this solution. It was bigger than, it was just big. So
very big. And about $1 billion company saying we want to patent what came out of your mind. That's crazy. I
that
love
I
it
did in
though.
6
It's a
weeks. Yeah.
wonderful story. So
So,
how did that shape you into a leader?
well, I mean, you have to step up and be bold, um, and share. Like you can't be quiet, uh, and fall. I don't know. I don't want to use words like mediocre or, just be a part of everybody else. You have to step out and be bold, be courageous enough to be to be loud.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it was that moment that helped me to step out into my own and say, okay, well, I'm going to start this entrepreneurial journey. I needed to build something to capture these requirements. And I was like, if I could do this at this company, I could step out on my own, find the resources, build the app at the time, and solve my own problem.
Mm, Would you say that was the drastic step that you took to become um the drastic step you took to become the entrepreneur, but also, now that you're an entrepreneur, you're not leading others. The person you're leading the most is who? And
My,
how
my
does that work?
Absolutely. But I'm also leading by example. A lot of people are not aware of what's possible. It's possible to step out and be courageous and do something really bold. I do not subscribe to the there's this phrase that everyone says you have to see it in order to do it. I mean, I always think of President Obama. He didn't see a black guy being a president, and he was bold enough to just, that's what I'm going to do. And I want people to think like that.
Yeah.
A leader is just someone that has a vision and have people that follow them. They see the vision and they follow. You can't be a leader if no one's following you. So
Correct.
they don't necessarily have to be working with you, but they're inspired by the work that you do. And that's how I see leadership. And I feel that I filled that gap right? I'm showing what's possible, especially being a female in like a male dominated industry. Um, I have my moments when I'm thinking, can I do this? Or is this done right? And you question yourself, but you're leading by example. So other women know that this certainly possible.
Yeah, especially in technology,
Yes,
right? Where we don't see many women and certainly don't see women of color
that's
in the
right.
technology space. And so, I admire you for just stepping into that. And I know it's not easy for you because you're
No,
an introvert and you
I
would
won't
much
admit
rather
it.
say that again.
I won't admit that I'm an introvert. I feel like an extrovert, but I think I'm an introvert.
It's okay because part of being bold and part of leading and leading yourself is to get out of your comfort zone. So let's go on to the next question. What legacy are you intentionally building through your business?
Oh, wow. This one is a tough one. Uh, Legacy that I'm building. I want to leave everyone with the understanding that AI is not something that you need to be afraid of. Uh, why? Because I mean, we had the internet. Everybody was afraid of the internet when we had the internet boom. Everybody was skeptical, but we have to look and view technology in a different way. Technology always wins. If you really go back and look at history, there's never a time that technology doesn't win. It's always changing. I
Right.
want everyone to try to adopt and see a bigger vision for where we need to go and not be afraid. And if everybody um, embraces it and use it ethically, I think we'll be successful. So that's one aspect for AI. But as a leader and a founder, um, I really want others, especially females, even my kids, just to see what I'm doing and what's possible. So the legacy is to just get out there and do it. Be curious enough to push the limits and take some risks and just get it done.
You sound like your coach. It's like, what? Who's this math woman? She sounds like her coach.
I learned from you.
Because I know you've had to evolve to this, but what I love so much is to show women and
Mhm.
girls that they can be bold enough and be able to create a legacy themselves through
Right.
watching you. That's one of the things that I like to share with my clients, and that is your business isn't about you. And the moment we give that up, that it's all about me and
That's
how
right.
I feel and it's not about you. It's about the people that you haven't even met yet that are going to watch you and say, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And I'm glad to hear that you are on that mission to help more girls to understand their place in this technology field. So, how
I do have one
is
more
your
thing I want to add to it. I think this is really important. Um, I do have a webinar or what I call a roundtable, and it's really just to inform a lot of like, like anyone, just especially business owners, what's possible with AI. But one of the things that really bugs me the most looking at technology is that in our own community, like our own Black community, we are so skeptical. We are always the last ones to embrace technology. It's always like, I'm going to wait until,
Mhm.
it's developed more. There's always some skepticism that's there. And the more they verbalize it, it more it becomes them. And I hate to see that. So instead of talking about it, I'm trying to do something about it. So I'm reaching out to my own community to say, look, let's not be the last ones this time to embrace something that's moving so fast, and it's going to affect your lives. So embrace it and figure it out.
Not. Like
Yeah,
it or not, it is going to impact your life and your children's
that's
lives.
right.
I'm in agreement. We've got to stop being the last one to the table, especially with things that look hard and
Yeah,
really they're not.
it's not. You don't need
So,
to understand a thing about AI. Jeff Bezos knew nothing about the internet, to be honest with you. It was in finance. And look what he was able to do. He wasn't a skeptic, he embraced it. So we need to change how we think. So if there's a legacy that I need to leave, it's really to look at innovation in a different way.
awesome. I love that. And let's educate the community in the
Yes.
process. So, what core values drive your decision as a business owner and leader?
Core values, ethics.
Mm,
Ethics. That is big, especially in AI, right? That's my space. Um, I think there was like a recent uh, announcement about some AI company that was like they they said that they were AI powered, but it was over 700 people behind the scenes that was like actually doing the work. Um, there's a lot of information that's out there when folks use these large language models or these chat gpt, their information is training the llm, and a lot of people just don't understand that, they don't know that. So what drives me, especially in ai, is certainly ethics. That's the word that stands out to me the most.
there's a lot of question about ethics and AI and now, and let's just cross this bridge now because there's some bad actors out there who
Yeah,
could use AI for no good,
that's right.
right? But that doesn't have to be, and it's certainly not the people we interact with. The people who we interact with want to use AI to bring value to lives. But
Right.
we do need to check our ethics with this AI stuff. And so I'm happy to hear that that is one of your core values. And as you start speaking about it, you can start driving that home. Did you see how I slipped that in there? All right. Let's go to this question. Was there a time you wanted to give up and what kept you going?
Oh, I love this question. I have never had a time where I want to give up. I've had several times where I'm frustrated. I slow down, I pivot, but my natural mind is to keep going and to think about innovative ways to get out of any rut that I'm in. I have never been a child from young to give up. And I'll tell you a funny story. When I worked at AIG, I actually ran the New York Marathon. I didn't really train. I thought in my head I could just, my goal is to finish that marathon. It was 26.2 miles. I think that's what a
Mhm,
marathon.
mhm.
I can't remember. But I'm like, I remember being at the 9 mile mark and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still going. 12 miles. Oh my God, my legs have not failed me yet. But it just kept, I'm not giving up. I am crossing that finish line. And it doesn't matter how many hours it's going to take me to do it. That was my goal. And I mean, that's my story. That's how I function. I don't give up. There's not an opportunity for that. That's just not how I think. That's not how I function. And I crossed the finish line. For my boys, it was just amazing. Like she did
Yeah.
it. She's not
Yes.
daddy. She's not going to run, a marathon in no time, but she's gonna get it done.
Wow. And you didn't train?
I didn't train like I should. Um, I To be honest with you, I never went over. You have to train in spurts. So you get to like a 9 mile mark, then you go to 12, and then you keep increasing. I've only ran straight a 9 mile race compared to like completing this in 26 miles. So I didn't train. I did weight training, I did other things, but my head just said, you can do this and you're going to do this and you're not going to give up, because there were opportunities to just stop.
Okay. Now you have a team. You have a team of developers, and so how do you show up for your team and your network when things get tough?
I think I would have to say, when I'm in a rut, I would like for people to be there just to listen to me offload. So I make myself available to offload. Naturally, I'm a collaborator. So it's nice to be a part of a team that you can collaborate with. They can lift you up when you're down. That's the benefit of networking, and that's the benefit of being a part of your group. So I make myself available. I make myself available at whatever I know I'm sharing.
Very good. I mean, and that's the value of, as you said, being a part of a network. So many people think networking is to get business, and ultimately it is. But there's so many side benefits to networking that people don't even articulate. And having that community there for you when times get hard, just to listen and say, girl, you got this, it's going to be okay, is critical. And so, and I'm glad that you have embraced the network and that you're not only giving, but you're also receiving. And the other thing about being a part of a network like this and showing up is it gives you the courage.
Yes.
You hear what other people success stories are, and you're like, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
And so that's really been a benefit of being a part of our group. So, what's the best leadership lesson you've learned from failure or rejection?
All right. So because I think big, sometimes when you have a no, or you feel like you have some sort of rejection, it feels like a stabbing feeling at that very moment that it happens. But I view it as a lesson, right? For every no, you should get no's, because it should be teaching you something. What
Sure.
should I be doing better? What did not resonate with this person? And that person could, or a company may not be your ideal customer profile. That's something I learned. Like, you have to understand and know your ideal customer profile. So um, I, I learned a lot from rejection, but I treat rejection as a lesson. I think the most important thing that I guess I want to say is that I do believe that things happen, partnerships, alignments, they happen at the right time. So I don't question what God has in store for how I do things. It is just how it is. Person
Yeah.
says no, but there's another person out there that needs what I'm offering, and I'm offering
But you
like
make it
a
sound so,
transformation.
you make it sound so simple.
You know,
It- it-
thank you for saying that, but it just, I think success and leadership is a mindset. I really do think that. I think that. And in order to be an entrepreneur and be successful at it, you have to have a different way of thinking. So I've noticed that that's always how I've functioned. I don't stop. I don't see negativity or no's the way that other people do.
Very good. And so, you've already touched on this, but I'd like for you to dig a little bit deeper. How has being part of a community like the Drastic Results Coaching Program group helped you to lead louder or build faster?
Uh, these communities. So I knew nothing about marketing. You know this. before. I always function as a solo person out there taking risks and just being very, at the time, I have to say I was being drastic, but quietly. Like I was never loud at all. I was
Correct.
just doing my thing.
Yeah.
But being a part of a community helped me to stay connected, which is great, and focused, but most importantly, accountable. When you put us on that 14-day trial, social media challenge,
Video, video, yeah.
I have to tell you, that was just, it was I can't find the right words to explain how amazing that was because it was really moving me out of my comfort zone. But I wasn't just doing it for myself. I was watching other team members to see what they have to say. And that sense of community, knowing that they're doing it, I'm doing it, and I'm inspiring, they're inspiring. It's just what you need because entrepreneurship can be very, um, what's the word I'm looking for? It could be very lonely.
Lonely. Mhm.
Yeah. So you need
Yeah.
a community.
So happy to hear you say that because I know where you started and we're halfway through and I just see you. I like to say that people enter my community as a caterpillar. And when they leave, they have birth as a butterfly. And I see that in you for sure, especially around marketing and getting out of your comfort zone, right? That AI stuff, you can run circles around me and all that technology. But, getting out of your comfort zone ultimately is the key. So I'm excited to hear this.
And you make it so easy, Toni. You really do. You say I make it sound easy. No, no, no. You actually uh you inspire me to be bold with everything that you do. Just even the cute messages that you leave. You can do this. You're not going to die.
You will not die. I promise. Oh, well, thank you so much. That's why you hire a coach so that they can give you the courage
Right.
until you can have the courage yourself. So, who inspired your leadership style and what qualities from them do you now embody?
My secret sauce is my mother,
I
my
knew
mom.
you were going to say that. Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. Go ahead. Talk about mama. We have that in common too, right?
Yeah. So I've always known that she was bold and talk about loud. She is loud. She is loud. She let you know how she feels. Um, and I have to tell you, I remember my first job in New York City, and I think I was fired, but I was let go. I was downsizing, and it happened on Valentine's Day. I was so crushed, and I called my mom, and I thought she was going to say, "Oh, it happens, don't worry," or something else. But she was loud, and she was like, um, she said something like, they don't know what they're missing. They should have let somebody else go. You bring value to the company. And she just went on and on and on. I didn't realize this for all my years. She has been that motivating force in the background. Uh, and so, yeah, she's really bold. She's really loud, and she's so supportive. Like it's hard for me to find words to explain how amazing she actually is.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
she's the one that.
I'm sorry I didn't get to meet her when I was in New York, but there will be another time for sure. Bring her to Houston when you come. So how about that? Um, so what bold moves or unconventional strategies helps you stand out or grow your business? Bold moves, unconventional.
Well, bold move was leaving a predictable job, building something. Before I left, I was building on the side. So I didn't just up and leave, but the courage to actually leave and do this on my own was a bold move.
Yeah.
And the strategy was to do it lean, right? So what I did was, it took me 6 months to actually sign with my development company because I needed to be comfortable with them. And so I was, and they took the time. But because I was also a business analyst, I wore different hats as like a product owner, project manager. What I did was I worked out with the development company a financial strategy of, okay, my company is it's self-funded by me. And
Mm-hmm.
in order to save money, I will
Mm-hmm.
do the business analysis. I will do some of the project management. You just do the development. So that was certainly unconventional. A lot of people, when
Mm-hmm.
they're doing something, they actually don't know where to begin. So they pick up all their money, they give it to somebody else to do it. I'm like, I need to be fully involved and engaged in the entire process, and I can contribute something. So I can do the business analysis, and I can also do the testing. That was really unconventional for someone starting their own business. And so you can negotiate with whomever to get,
Yes.
the right results.
Negotiation. I love that. Um, what advice would you give someone who feels like they're playing small in their leadership?
What advice? Playing small. There's no benefit in waiting, and you don't need to be perfect. You can just put it out there. Because why? Because, especially understanding how people buy now, they don't buy products. They buy you. They buy your vision, right? They don't necessarily buy what you're selling. Uh,
Correct.
yeah. So Elon Musk comes to mind, like, when he did the um, that truck that he had, where
Yes.
he
The
had
cyber.
the cyber truck, where he had somebody, throw like a ball, and he's like, it's the glass is not going to break, and it broke. And what did everybody do? They went and they just started buying. I'm like, did you see what happened on national TV? The glass broke. But people aren't buying the Cybertruck, the product. They're buying Elon and his vision. So people need to understand, to be bold is not to make something absolutely perfect, because people are not really looking at the product. They know that you have the capability to fix it. So do something and put it out there, and see what happens.
Yeah. Perfect is a fallacy. There's no perfection, and trying to strive for perfect impedes progress. So put it out there. At some point, good enough has to be good enough, right? So, how are you helping others to rise as you rise?
Like I said, share what I know. I'm 100% transparent. When I do have these one-on-ones that we constantly do, based on the networking that you share on how we need to interact, um, I've had several conversations with people where I'm learning from them and they're learning a lot from me. I don't know why it's so easy for me to share everything that I know. Well, this is how I do things, or this is how I approach that, or so yeah, being transparent and asking on these one-on-ones, how is it that I can help you?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
has become a very natural part of the conversation now.
that's right. What are you working on? How can I help? And mean it.
I mean
Another
it.
benefit of networking is to build the relationships with people you can introduce to people.
That's right.
And so, awesome, awesome. This is a loaded question. And if you've got to take a minute, that'd be great. At your funeral, what do you want
Ooh.
people to remember about you and the work you've done?
Um, I built with intention, and I used every opportunity to share everything that I know. that I showed up, right? And I wasn't afraid to push the limits.
Very good. Very good. Love it. Well, tell everyone how to get in touch with you.
Well, they can reach me on my website, pen.ai. I'm also on LinkedIn. I don't know how you would share the LinkedIn credentials, but
It's just your name.
Kasoon Chapman on LinkedIn. And when you get on LinkedIn, or if you interact with my agent on my website, you can actually book a one-on-one call with me. But I'd really like to hear from anyone. I want to be able to share what it is that I know about what I see is coming with AI. And I really need to push the limits too and get myself out there, be visible, and share what I know on social media.
Absolutely. Well, Kasoon, it's been a pleasure having you as part of my Drastic results, PPP coaching. That stands for Purpose, People, and Profits coaching program. I've seen you blossom. I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to see where we're going to continue to grow together. Thank you for your time, and keep living, leading loud to create your legacy. This is Toni Harris Taylor saying, take a drastic step today for a fantastic tomorrow, and we will see you with our next author. Bye.